Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk, guys. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. On this episode of World of Tanks, I've got Hjorte, I think. I looked it up. That's something like that. Anyway, he's in his LTG, Tier 7 Russian light tank. Another one of those strange tanks, man. I've been featuring a number of unusual tanks lately, and I like that because I like playing the unusual tanks myself. This is not a particularly popular little tank, but he's going to go ahead and come up here to this bush on Kakov, and we see a 1375 making a strange move, but okay, if that's what you want to do, you be you, and we take a shot and we'll back out. We're probably going to get spotted doing that, and we do. There's 2 artillery, so I don't know about that. When I first watched this, I said, I don't know if I would have let them know I was there. I think I might have tucked into the bush so I wasn't able to be seen by him, and just kept the lighting party going on, but there's not much going over here. The Super's actually pushing up. The Tortoise is slowly driving into the back. I don't know really why he's not coming up the hill immediately. I think he was actually camping or something, so very strange. And the 1375 is pushing in, which is unusual. So you play the game that you're faced with, not the map or the game you want it to be. And Hjorte comes over here, and we're going to get some shots. We take a little plink into that, and we're firing HE, baby. I don't know what he's looking at. What is he looking at? Is he given up? Has he gone away? Has he quit the game? I think this is the day he quit playing. He's tracked again. Why is he not looking? He's not doing anything. He's just, okay. Well, there you go. You get an easy 400 hit points and 448 assists. Be careful about pop. There you go. You want to be dark before you come back up. He was clearly lit. If you come up while you're still lit, or look like you're coming up, people may time a shot in there. So we get into this bush, we sneak in, and we have no binoculars. This is why I like binoculars, because you get a little more burned through right there, baby. A little more burned through. Super Pershing gives no Fs. This is a strength. This whole fight on this side of the map, on the west side of the map for this match, is very strange to me. The Super just kind of drives in. We got a JP in that bush, kind of an unusual bush, and the Indian Panzer's there. He doesn't get lit, so we're backing up. He's having some trouble. There you go, having some trouble with his depression, because looking over the back of the tank has worse depression. And I really thought the Super would disintegrate, but look at him. He cares not. He cares not. He's lost slightly less than half his hit points, maybe 40% of his hit points, it looks like. Don't you like how there's a number of hit points there, but I turned it into some kind of vague percentage of hit points, which you could actually have on the tab if you wanted to. It's never enough, is it, guys? Indian Panzer backs out. Probably gonna get lit doing that, but we don't, because I think the Indian Panzer was actually double bushed when he took that shot, and it looks like the 430 version 2 has not come around the corner, at least had not right then. Artie does a really nice job of missing and uncovering this guy. This guy's like, oh, I need to go forward. Oh, geez, and he dies. So Hjorte, nicely done. 2 kills, just the little Vulture Ninja Assassin LTG. It does struggle with gun depression a little bit. It is a very low profile tank, but it's quite wide for a light tank. It's a big light tank that's squat. It's kind of a weird combination, but being not very tall is quite useful. It's just kind of big for some of the smaller bushes as far as the length of the hole, so it's a little bit tricky to use. We push up, and I thought this was another slightly odd positioning decision based on having a bunch of guys still on the back side over here, but it looks like we've got a lot of lights down this road, and that's a really dangerous position to be in right there for the E75 and his buddies. I've run into that before where my side simply did not keep them from moving forward, and for whatever reason these guys have not. And all of a sudden they're on your flank right here, and only bad things happen. When people start shooting you from the side, only bad things happen. Oh, look out. Take a little shot, but we get a bad angle. Looks like it was a nice flat plate side, but we hit something. Maybe the front of the armor or some kind of weird angle on the turret. We're just sort of carefully putting shots in there. This poor M445. And meanwhile, Hjorte's team is pushing up. Look at this. The Tortoise is actually making a move. Did he lose some? Yeah, he must have got artied or something like that. Leopard comes up, but nobody's really paying attention to the 430 version 2 or the Indian. So it looks like maybe they're going to try to figure that out. His team seems to be in pretty good shape. 430 finally comes around the corner and, hey, what's going on over here? And regrets it immediately because here comes 4 tanks. 4 tanks pushing in. The Super Pershing gets a thump on the Indian. And now Forte is going to do something here with the light tank. That is one of the fortes of light tanks, which is to get in there, mix it up, get people turned around, and cause chaos while his buddies destroy everybody. And it looks like the 430 version 2 is near dead, so he's just going to auto-aim and make him go away. And I think I would have cut towards the Indian Panzer on that one and started circling. If I tried to do this, or if you were going to run away, don't do the power slide and just go around the corner and run away. But I thought this was maybe the worst of 2 worlds right there. This is really nice what he does right here. Notice he is collapsing the range on the Indian Panzer so that as he gets closer and closer, his line of sight rate will increase from left to right, or in this case, yeah, left to right for the Indian Panzer. Watch the Indian Panzer not be able to keep his gun online. Now, the Indian Panzer should have been just standing still, turning his hull and his turret if you wanted to get that one more shot off. But Hjorte goes right by, and then he slams on the brakes, because what he doesn't want to do is keep circling and drive right back around in front of the Indian Panzer's gun. The Indian Panzer's only choice really there is to start turning his turret the other way. But again, it should have been the hull and the turret. He might have got his gun on. It's not going to matter, though. The Leopard PTA comes over. I don't really know why it took so long for them to kill him. I think the Super Pershing may have started focusing on the Arty before they got rid of the Indian Panzer. Had a little Arty buck fever right there. That is approved by Guido. Shots into Arty are always on the table. Now this is a pretty nice job over on the west side. His team had a bit of a rough go over on the east side. This is where this match gets really interesting from a strategic chess piece kind of standpoint. It looks like Hjorte's team is in really good shape, but let's just watch how it goes down. So you guys think about it. Is that the move you would do? Is that the move you would do right there? Maybe put some pressure on the cap. I talk a lot about cap and when it is a good time to cap, when it's a bad time to cap, setting cap conditions for wins. It's an interesting one for me, it really is. I think it's not a bad idea. And his team is smelling the blood. We have a bit of a frenzy going on, but here's the problem. These are all lighter-ish tanks, minus the Tortoise, maybe the IS-3. And the enemy team has quite a conglomeration of pretty heavy tanks, and they're not that far away from cap. So it's really going to depend on how many push towards their cap and how many come back to defend. Getting on cap is going to guarantee probably more comeback. But the phase 1's sitting there with 500 hit points, and Hjorte's team kind of makes some mistakes getting in there, and then he bails out of sitting in the bush. That's the only bush right there. It's the most obvious bush in the game in regards to somebody's capping. Then when he shoots, he gets spotted and eats a big shot, which is probably also not a great idea. Pauses, and thank goodness there was nobody else, say a JT, which they have one of, or somebody coming down this way that was able to finish you off. So a bit of a risk right there. I might have held that bush for a little while longer, but like I was saying, it's a pretty obvious bush, and somebody may have just taken some pokes in there and hit you anyway. And all of a sudden it's 10-9. You know somebody has to be back. And the guys in the north, they died. So his team in the north died, so at least somebody is pushing towards the cap. And the M12, the Muppet, is still sitting there in the north. But he actually makes a decision here pretty soon. Here comes the IS, so the IS has come back. That's 2 of the 5 tanks have come back. If I was a betting man, I'd say there's at least one more. Doesn't have any good shots on this guy, and we're running out of ammo as well. We're down to 10 AP and 3 HE. There's the JT, so doggone it, and the Tiger 2. So everybody at this point, but the TS5 have made their presence known, and we're down to, now we're losing 4-5. Not only are we losing 4-5, they have better tanks. Although the Tortoise The tortoise is a pretty good tank for this situation. Now he comes off the hill, and then we have Hjorte going over. Now they probably know, well, they definitely know somebody's on the cat. Looks like he was thinking about maybe getting back in the bush, but at that point, I would agree 100%. The early one was interesting. Might have worked if you'd have stayed on there. but I think somebody would have taken a shot in there. Now, yeah. I think you needed to not go there. We'll back into this bush, and now we're just trying to be spotting guy. We really need to get that tortoise to work. 9 shells, 3 HE. There's the JT. Maybe the tortoise can put some thumps on this guy. Might have tried tracking him, but right now we're just worrying about maybe getting some spotting. Problem is where the tortoise is, the angle, he probably doesn't have an angle on that guy. I thought maybe Hjorte on this one, this bush here might have been a one to try. Problem is it's very small, so it might not have been quite possible to pop up without being spotted from the different angles guys are looking at. But it was a little closer and might have given you a better view. And then the IS makes a mistake. He breaks out into the open, and he's going to pay for that. I think I would have taken that shot, absolutely, even knowing I was going to get spotted. They know you're nearby. That's what you needed the tortoise to do right there. That's the kind of work we need to get him done with. And I also like going over to the other bush right now as well once you go dark, just to be in a different spot. Just in case one of them decides to poke a shot in there. You might get a slightly different angle on somebody. Maybe you find a shot from another bush, then you can back out. You really want to kind of bob and weave in here, be a little bit unpredictable. Now we got the Tiger 2 peeking out, but he's not coming around the rubble at all. We haven't seen the TS5 for a long time. The M12 moved, but not very far, so he's up in the northwest corner now. And interestingly, the IS-3 went back up onto the hill, and then the tortoise pushes in, and this was a huge mistake by the tortoise because he starts to get shredded. Boom, he takes a 495. The JT's not going to have a whole lot of trouble pinning him. The problem with the tortoise in the position he just took, he's down in that ditch. The first thing that comes up and over is that big old tumor. I mean, it literally may be one of the worst positions for a tortoise. We've gone to HE. We're going to annoy him with some tracks and stuff. I would agree with that. Back out. No sense standing in there just to get another little HE shot. Risking maybe a shot from the Tiger. So he's kind of ignoring you. Looks like the Tiger's maybe looking for where you are. Going to take that next HE shot. Little side. What do we get? 30 or no 6? Sorry, yeah, there was the big 6. Tortoise is kind of suffering here because he's got several angles of shots on him. And again, that tumor comes up first. Look at him. He's down to 175. So he pushing in like that really hurts you guys for him. Maybe if he'd have come where you were and then you moved to that forward bush, he might have had some better shots potentially. It's also got pretty good depression. He may have been totally bushed up. He might have been able to start punching through the superstructure of the JT or maybe the turret of the Tiger 2. And it looks like the TS5 has returned as well. The M12 is still sitting back there. He has no angle where he is. Would have been nice to see him move all the way down to the southwest corner much earlier, but he will eventually get to that. And now it's a bit of a patience game. The tortoise is trying to flank. I'm flanking. JT's out in the open. I'm thinking, all right, Mr. IS-3, do you have any shots? I mean, he's just looking around. Like he's looking at each bush. He's like, all right, I know I'm spotted. Where is this guy? He's looking right at you, so I probably would not shoot. Yeah, that's a good idea. I have no idea how he disappeared. You were seeing him just a moment ago, and all of a sudden he's gone. So whether his stationary camo is just enough or somehow he got around that corner. I see you wondering the same question by moving forward. That was a little dangerous. He came out of the bush. I don't know why he disappeared either. Maybe when you came out, when you went back to the bush, he would backed up just enough to disappear around that corner. Didn't seem like enough time, but there you go. M12 is finally moving to the south. IS-3 camping up on the hill, and then the tortoise. Looks like the tortoise is trying to make a move here. Of course, the only way to get out of that pit is at the north or south end. You can go to the middle. You can turn the corner here, go to the middle, and climb out somewhere. But none of these walls are climbable, especially by a tortoise along here. From here south and here north, you can't get out of the stupid thing. Which he has found out and is now slowly, ever so slowly driving towards the cap. Probably not a bad decision on his part. He got himself stuck in that hole. Continuing to poke was just going to get him dead. He's been gone for a while, so they may not know exactly where he is. If they saw him moving north, they may have guessed. And I think one of them comes around here and gets him. You kind of clip that tree, unfortunately. That lets them know you're still there. Tortoise comes up and out finally, and now he's moving through. The problem with this move is he's very unlikely to get too many of them. That the JT got hit by Artie potentially in there. Maybe a blind shot by the IS-3. The Artie is finally in a good position. He should be able to splash this guy. And here comes the Tortoise moving in, and then Hjorte makes a bold move. This surprised me a little bit, to be honest. I really thought somebody over here would see you, one of these guys. But you're able to jump on. And I like it, kind of, but at the same time, not so much. It's the only bush that's known to be on that. I mean, I don't know why they don't just shoot into it. It's very strange. Actually, I think he did. Well, he might have shot into that bush, or maybe he was shooting that bush. Maybe he thought that bush was actually on. That was very, very strange, actually. The TS5 can't decide either. He's like, all right, is he behind that rubble? Where is this guy? I'll just shoot into that. But so the same bush has been shot twice. I thought that was really, really crazy. The IS-3 is finally pushing in and moving in. Looks like they shot that bush twice, although that bush isn't even actually on. It isn't even actually on the cap. Think about Artie, though, guys, here, because I think if you had Artie on this, it would change this calculation quite a bit. Well, I don't think it'd be a great idea to be in this bush at all if they had any Artie. They don't, so that's good. And we're down to 51 seconds to cap and 53 1 seconds total. We've got the IS-3 who finally does something, gets rid of the JT. And I missed it, but slightly earlier than that, the Tortoise died because the Tiger II went out there, and now all they have is the Phase 1, the AE Phase 1. So one of their tanks went to our cap. He's not going to do anything. He's sitting on it with a minute 16 to cap, and there's only 30 seconds left. IS-3 comes in and sacrifices himself to the AE Phase 1 in order to kind of keep you safe. I think this is a good idea to both not shoot. You might even be tempted to back out and make the bush solid and shoot him and help out, but then he kind of knows where your azimuth is. So I think this is a good idea. Just sit there. His kill shot was about 6 seconds left to cap. He's not going to reload in time. He's raging for it, hoping beyond hope that he can somehow light you. And he just shoots again, oddly. Oh, maybe he was shooting at the Artie. I guess he saw the Artie. I didn't see it. The Artie had moved in there. And we've got a win at 0-0-0-0. 3 kills, 2,779 damage, 2,302 assists. Nicely done by Hjorte in the LTG Tier 7. I'd be curious what everyone thinks down there. Throw it down into the comments about the initial decision to get on the cap and then to leave the cap. That was cool. I don't know. I don't know where I sit on that. It looked like it was a bit of a romple stomp. I felt like maybe the collapse was about to happen, but the enemy team came back. We're in good positions to guard the cap, and I think you guys got on the cap and pushed in at them a little prematurely. And then I think you may have realized that and decided to do something different, made a couple mistakes right there, and then played the rest of it pretty dang good from there. So thanks for sending that in, man. I do appreciate it. I hope this helps. If you guys like what you saw or learned something, throw me a subscribe. Otherwise, we will see ya.